we're going to talk about some of the basics around that. And this is known as search engine optimization. At least a couple of you have likely spent thousands of dollars on search engine optimization. You've talked to consultants, you've gone through the exercise. I'm going to tell you now what would likely happen if you were out hiring an SEO consultant in your first 2 to 4 hour consulting engagement, in case you might spend hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars. We'll talk through some of the basics. So the very, very basics, as you think about search engine optimization, is that you need to think about how Google works and what Google is looking for on your web page. Your job, partly in terms of automating, optimizing your website, is to make things easy for Google. And we'll talk about how you do that just one specific way, so you have something as a takeaway. So the number one exercise, and people make this mistake all the time, and this is what good SEO consultants will go through before doing anything else, before touching your website. They will go through what's called a keyword selection exercise. And so here's the way keyword selection works. So you have your business, whatever it happens to be, and what you want to do is you want to find the keywords that your potential customers are likely to search on in Google. And the way to think about this is that put yourself in the shoes of your customer, your potential customer, and say, if I were sitting in Google and I woke up on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. and I was looking for me, what kinds of things might I search on? Would I search on CRM software, CRM customization based on whatever industry you're in, and you make a list of these candidate words. And what should be on that list are only words that are relevant to your business. I know that sounds obvious. Only words that are relevant to your business, because the name of the game here is not just ranking in Google, not to say, oh, I'm on the first page of Google for so-and-so keyword. The goal of the game is to rank, number one, so you can then get traffic to your website and then have someone do something that you want them to do, which may be buying something from you on that particular transaction, or it may be taking the next step in the sales process, whatever it happens to be. So number one is you have this candidate list. Let's call it a list of 50 words that you kind of brainstormed, met with people on the team, talked to existing customers, looked at existing data. We can talk about those things, but you have this candidate list. The second thing you need to do is you need to look down through that list and figure out the search volume for those words. What search volume means is in any given month, how many people search on that term. And here's why this is important. So let's say you were writing software for plumbers. And the keyword that you picked on your long list is like plumbing software for left-handed plumbers from Idaho. That was your keyword, or your key phrase. And you're going to rank number one. It's not going to be that hard. But the problem is only 2 people a month search on that term. So even if you rank number one, even if you got 100% of the traffic, the race itself is not winning because it's not worth it. Because even if you win, you don't win a whole lot, right? So the idea is to find words that have decent search volume. And Google has a free tool, and I can share some links with you in the presentation afterwards in terms of places to go to figure out what the search volume of a given term is. So this is good, right? So you've got relevant terms, and you're like, oh, well, here are 5 terms that have over 10,000 people searching on them in a given month. Wouldn't it be nice to get some of those 10,000 visitors to my website if they're searching for specialized CRM customization services or something like that? Boy, that's a great term. I would love to have them come to my website. The biggest mistake people make as they go through this keyword selection process is not picking irrelevant words, not picking words with relatively little volume. The issue is they end up picking a fight with a ninja. And let me tell you what this means. So if you are in, let's say you're selling, as BrainSell is, let's say you're selling services and solutions for the CRM industry, Jim could have picked the keyword CRM as his keyword. Like, wow, 800,000 people search on that term every month. Isn't that a great word to optimize for? Well, the reality is Jim's not going to win that particular battle because there's other people that have much stronger authority in Google that are much more likely to rank, and he will never, ever, ever, in the short term, win that particular fight, right? There are CRM companies out there, including Sugar, that are very, very good at it. They have content creators doing all these things. So the idea here is that you want to find words that are relevant, have some volume, where the competition is weak enough that you have a chance at ranking on the first page of Google. If you don't have a chance for ranking on the first page of Google, it doesn't matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is if you look at your own search behavior. So let's say you're searching for whatever it is. You're looking for a Boston real estate broker. The way people behave, as it turns out, is that you are much more likely to click on one of the first 2 to 3 results, right? Because you automatically assume the first 2 to 3 results are often the most relevant, often the best. Very few of you will go to the second page and click the next page at the bottom of Google and say, look at the next page of results. What you're much more likely to do than going to the second page, it's like, oh, I didn't ask the question right. I'm just going to change and search for a different term. I'm going to say Brookline real estate broker. I'm going to narrow it. I'm going to widen it. I'm going to add words. I'm going to remove words. Very few people will click, some will, to page 2. Maybe page 3. But after that, you're going to get essentially zero traffic. Nobody, literally, like not literally, it's asymptotic, but almost nobody goes to page 2 and beyond. Right? So the moral of the story here is that if you pick battles where you're not going to rank on the first page or first 2 pages, it wasn't a battle worth fighting. So pick words where you have this arbitrage opportunity between relevance, volume, and the competition is weak. And you come up with your word. This is what we want to rank for. We think we've got a fighting chance because our website either does today or will be much more rank worthy than the people that are there right now. And so this is what I'm going to close on here. Is as you think about search engine optimization, there are exactly 10 results per Google search results page. In order for you to get on the first page of Google, you have to bump somebody else off. It's a zero-sum game, right? Google's not going to add the 11th result simply because you have a brilliant website. So somebody has to fall off in order for you to get in. So the question you have to ask yourself is, for this particular word, do I deserve, you have to be honest with yourself, do I deserve to rank? If you don't deserve to rank, Google's got thousands of engineers writing an algorithm that rewards high-quality content. You will not win. Not in the short term, not in the midterm, not in the long term. You can't game it. So the idea is, if you don't deserve to rank yet, you can do one of two things. Either change the keyword that you're optimizing for and find one where the competition is weaker, or build content such that your content is better. It should rank. People would rather find your website than one of the 10 that are coming up right now in Google. Make sense? All right, cool. All right, so once you have that, you have your keyword, the use of that keyword, now obviously you're going to use that keyword in your web page and on your website and various pages. But the one thing I'm going to tell you is the strongest signal of the things that you can control on your website, the single strongest signal by an order of magnitude, so 10x-ish, is the page title of the page and whether your keyword is in the page title or not. So if you look at a browser, we can bring a quick browser up, but it's the thing that shows up very at the top of the browser. It's the name of the page. It doesn't show up within the content, but if you look at the title of the browser, the very in the window, well, maybe I can switch over here. I've got a browser up. So you guys, in case you don't know, I will switch over. This is dangerous. There's a browser here. So if we look here, this is the Sugar CRM website. At the very, very top, you can't read it, but it's that very next to the IE icon. It says Sugar CRM - commercial open source CRM. And then it says the name of the browser, which is Windows Internet Explorer. So that's the page title. As it turns out, so let's say Sugar was trying to optimize for open source CRM. Pretty good word to solve for in terms of relevance and volume. They do happen to rank number 1 for this, which is not surprising. They deserve to rank. All right, so the idea here is, number 1, this mistake is so common it keeps me up at night. Is that people pick words, it's like, okay, I've got this word or whatever, and their page title has just their company name. And it doesn't include the keyword at all. And that is the single largest waste of website real estate from a search perspective that there ever was. It's like, oh, I'm Acme Widgets, and we do so-and-so laser manufacturing measurement tools or whatever it happens to be, and they don't have manufacturing or measurement tools or laser or anything. They just have Acme Widgets as the page title. Google does not need help figuring out what the name of your company is. More often than not, the name of your company is in your domain name. They're pretty smart guys. They'll figure that part out. What they need to know is, what is it that you're trying to sell? What kinds of users should we send to your website? When people are searching on X, what is X that we should drive towards you? And the way to do that, the strongest signal that Google gets, the way you help them out, is by putting the keyword that you care about in the page title. So that's number 1. Number 2 is, let's say you have 14 words in your page title, whatever they happen to be. And let's say we're solving for open source CRM. We'll look at the Sugar example. For most of you, if you're in small businesses, and I'll call that, let's say, less than 500 employees, less than 1,000 employees, for most of you, your brand should not be at the very beginning of your page title, and I'll tell you why. So I just said that having the keyword in the page title sends an extremely strong signal to Google. Google looks at that very, very carefully and says, oh, that's what you're trying to optimize for. I will send those people to your website. The earlier the keyword is in the sequence of words in the page title, the stronger the signal.